It is a great day to be alive, and I am so thankful for God, Jesus Christ, who lives in us. In today's video titled Bitcoin Drop and XRP Dream, I'm going to be sharing that dream in this video, briefly talk about the November 27th date, as well as sharing a second dream that may or may not be connected to this fourth quarter market crash date that we have been praying about. Before we get started, I'm not a financial advisor. Nothing that I'm sharing is financial advice. I'm simply sharing dreams, visions, and interpretations that I feel God has given me as it relates to crypto. Now, let's get into the video. So before we get into this November 27th date, I want to back up and really stress this third and fourth quarter dates that I have been believing God for. It all began with a dream that I had on July the 9th. God gave me this message in that dream that the market will crash in the third and fourth quarter. The third quarter crash we've seen, but it is the fourth quarter crash that we are looking for. My focus for a long time had been on October 17th as being that particular date. However, since October 17th, being that it has come and gone and there was no fourth quarter market crash, I have been praying about it. I have been reflecting on it. And during this process, many dates have stood out as being possible dates as far as this fourth quarter market crash goes. We've had several dates that we have been praying about. And during this process, I noticed that there are three categories that these dates are falling into: war dates, crypto dates, or market crash dates. And so far, we only have that one market crash date to account for. Looking at the last two dates, November 14th and November 27th, again, what category will these dates fall in? November 14th, we saw what happened with XRP. Praise God. XRP has taken off, has not looked back since. And we're going to talk more about XRP a little bit later on in this video. Now, focusing on November 27th, where did that date fall? Was it a war date, crypto date, or market crash date? Well, obviously, it wasn't a market crash date. But getting into the news on November 26th, we heard the breaking news and also Biden doing a speech as he talked about on November 26th, the Israel-Hezbollah ceasefire news. This news came out. The ceasefire will begin the next day, 4 a.m. on Wednesday. That date for Wednesday would be November 27th. So November 27th, as it relates to the Israel war, here again, all these things as it relates to war has to do with Israel. The Israel-Hezbollah ceasefire took effect. Day one was November 27th. And of course, this was a big deal, big breaking news as it relates to progress being made. And then just to make a note, more breaking news came out on November 28th as it related to the violation of this ceasefire between Israel and Hezbollah. So one day of ceasefire. That date was November 27th. And so going back to our chart, I am simply going to place November 27th underneath the war date because, again, all of these dates as it relates to war on this chart has to do with Israel. So right now we are still looking at this fourth quarter market crash date. What is that date? Before I answer that question, I want to share this dream that I had, and I'm calling it Damaged Blue Egg and War Horn Sound. And this was a dream I had on November 19th. In this dream, this dream began with me seeing two blue eggs, and one of the blue eggs was damaged. While I'm looking at these two blue eggs, I also hear this horn sound, or something like a war horn sound. And I saw these two blue eggs with one being damaged. I saw it about 3 times throughout this entire dream. Between seeing it 3 times and hearing the horn 3 times, my dream shifted to being at a hospital. Now, that portion of the dream, I'm not going to share in this video. I'm not sure if the two of these things connect. I'm still praying about this dream and its connection to the hospital portion of this dream. I, at this point, do not have another potential fourth quarter date. I think it has something to do with both of these dreams, or one, or combination of both. However, in the meantime, I'm totally leaning on what God has already said, that the markets will crash in the third and fourth quarter. When will I be given that date? I'm not sure, but from this point moving forward, I'm still doing the same thing. I'm praying about it. I'm looking back on these dreams, other dreams, putting things together to see if there's anything that I may have missed, anything that God desires to show me as far as a specific date. But again, overall, on a broad spectrum, fourth quarter is what I know he's told me. Now I want to get into the Bitcoin and the XRP dream that I saw. And I had this dream on November 29th. And in this dream, I saw two columns. One column was labeled BTC and the other column was labeled XRP. In this dream, I understood that there was something about the Ripple case as far as the XRP side. Something about the case. I didn't know whether it was good or whether it was bad, but I understood something about the case. Next, I turned my eyes to the BTC column. And when I began to look in the BTC column, I began to see this sparkling oval swirl, and it just continued to swirl, and it was sparkles all around it. And I began to tell my husband, I think there's something there. Can you read what's there? And the thought came to me that I needed to look at this sparkling oval swirl with my spiritual eyes. And so I told my husband, we have to look at this with our spiritual eyes. And seconds after I told him that, I saw 3 large red candles all fall all at once. And my response was, oh, what just happened? A very, very fast fall. I did not see any numbers at the end of this fall or the beginning of this fall, but all I understood was I was looking at the BTC side before I saw the drop. And so I woke up from this dream and I began to ponder a few things. So I woke up from this dream not having any idea of what this case news would be about as far as XRP. But again, this dream was on the 29th, and on November 30th, I heard about the Ripple stablecoin could be launching or set to launch on December the 4th. And so thinking back to the dream, this is all great news to hear about this stablecoin getting ready to come out. However, this doesn't connect to what I knew in the dream about XRP. It had something to do with the Ripple case. And then December 1st rolled around and I began to see articles and news about the SEC possibly dropping or abandoning the XRP case. This caught my attention because it did match up with what I heard or understood in that dream, that BTC and XRP dream. It was something about the Ripple case. In the dream, I didn't know whether it was good or bad. But here, seeing this news come out on December 1st, I realized that, hey, this is good news. This is really good news for XRP. And so with all of this, I just began to praise and thank God for the manifestation of all these things that he's promised as it relates to XRP. That he's shown me. We have the stablecoin being dropped on or launched on December 4th. The case possibly being dropped. News about an ETF. And then on top of that, which is old news now, but Gary Gensler resigning. And when I heard about that, I immediately thought about my Gary Gensler dream, about him saying, I'm going to go ahead and take the shot and regret it later. To me, it's like he was giving up. And in this case, he's actually resigning. He's actually giving up. And so since having that XRP dream on June the 3rd, it has been almost 6 months. And again, God has done so much within this 6-month time span. I just truly, truly thank God for all that he's manifesting, all that he's doing for this wealth transfer community. So now I want to go back and take a look at the BTC portion of this particular dream. My thoughts immediately went back to Tether and the Tether dream that I shared back in June, possibly June of this year, and how Tether will become unstable, how Tether will fall and become unstable. And during this time, a little after is when I had the XRP dream. And so after having that dream, good news about XRP and the possible stablecoin, all that news was coming out as bad news about Tether was coming out. And so either the day of, the day before, or the day after you hear good news about Ripple, you hear bad news about Tether. And so my thoughts were, would Ripple stablecoin take the place of Tether? And how does that connect to Bitcoin? Is that Tether is a very high trading pair when it comes to Bitcoin. Moving forward, we know all the news that has been out about Tether. We hear all the great news about Ripple and XRP. And it's not a coincidence that by the end of this month, which marks the end of this year, Tether not being in compliance, Tether, from my understanding, would go away. And by next week, Ripple should have their stablecoin launching. So you have the rise of one stablecoin and the fall of another. And again, because Tether is connected to Bitcoin, Would that cause Bitcoin to fall like how I saw in my dream? Would that cause Bitcoin to fall? There's been a lot of talk about Bitcoin flash crashing and different things that we've heard for a while now. Could this be what causes the Bitcoin flash crash? If that's not enough, we see how that XRP has just today, flipped Solana, and it's working its way towards Tether's stablecoin. One more thing about Ripple before I end this video. And I saw this article today, and it says Russia's central bank report spotlights Ripple's potential despite the SEC appeal. And as I looked at the date that this article came out, it was October 17th. And so now, based on this date, is there a connection here? Because October 17th was always connected to a market crash date for me. Something else that stood out today was something to do with a rumor as it relates to Russia potentially adopting XRP as an alternative to the ruble because of their economic challenges. And we've heard in the news the past couple of days how the Russian ruble has lost a lot of value, basically worthless compared to what it used to be. But we're also hearing that Putin is not worried. Could it be that he's not worried simply because he has a backup plan, and that backup plan is Ripple's XRP? So we will keep an eye on XRP. We'll keep an eye on Bitcoin to see if there's any correlation relation to with both of these coins. Of course, we will have to wait to see what happens with Tether by the end of the year. And as it relates to Bitcoin and XRP, if Tether or for whatever reason Bitcoin has a flash crash, would this be the thing to bring about a flash crash as far as a fourth quarter market crash? So this is where I am in my thinking as it relates to this fourth quarter market crash and all that has been in the news about Ripple as it relates to these dreams, putting these things together to try to make it make sense. Of course, praying about it. And so that is all that I have for this video. Until the next one, God bless.